Hello and welcome to the Stevie P channel, and today I'm going to be giving you a behind the scenes sort of tour on exactly how it all happens over at Forever Sports. Forever Sports is the YouTube channel that I've been growing over the last sort of year, which focuses mainly on rugby, cricket and football. Is a fan channel, but probably sort of the first of its type really in South Africa, and we've grown to over 6,500 subscribers in just over a year. And one of the most asked questions I get whilst doing the shows and doing the various things is, how do I do it in terms of the green screen, the production, and stuff like that? Something that I'm very aware of when I do my videos and when I produce content is I want it to look good. I want it to look as best as possible. And so the easiest way for me to do things when I first started was, because I don't have, very expensive cameras and lighting and, nice backgrounds and nice settings and stuff like that, it was always going to be quite difficult to create a set of some sort, which looked really nice in terms of a nice background and lighting and stuff like that. As a result, I thought that the easiest way to get things going would be to do the sort of the green screen look, which is not easy by any means. It requires, quite a few little tricks, but it was quite easy to then be able to design a really nice background and be able to change this background, be able to sort of add elements to it in order to make it look as professional as possible, whilst on a smaller budget. Eventually I would like to build towards having an actual set and sort of moving away from the green screen, but it is something that served me really well. So without any further ado, I'm going to show you the whole setup of my desk and everything I get, and exactly how it all sort of comes together to what everybody sees on Forever Sports when they watch a new show, watch along, and the like. So without any further ado, let's go and check out the desk itself. Right, and here we have the setup, what has become quite a long sort of journey over the last 12 months of adding sort of small parts here and there to eventually come up with the setup that I currently have, which has quite a lot of interesting sort of little itty bits which have been quite useful. And when I first started doing videos, I actually had a green screen set up over there with a couple of lights and stuff like that, and a little lapel mic which plugs straight into a camera. But the biggest problem with that was not being able to do things live, and as a result I had to sort of start bringing together a couple of different elements to be able to sort of start doing my live work, such as my live watch-alongs, my live news shows, and stuff like that. Now, the first thing that we sort of invested in was to get a green screen. Now, obviously, this is a much bigger, I'll sort of walk a bit backwards, a much bigger green screen than you really need. But the thinking with doing this was, I always like to plan for the future and things that I might use. And so the thinking was to get something a bit bigger, which will have sort of more uses in the potential future, than rather to get a smaller green screen, like an Elgato pop-up green screen, for example, which is sort of only limited to one sort of person. And the nice thing about this is we actually did it as a banner wall for behind. So if we need to go anywhere for any sort of events on the fly, we've got this really cool banner wall with all the different Forever Sports logos on it. Now, the big thing when you're doing green screen work is lighting. And one of the best things I've bought so far has been this softbox, which has sort of basically that lights up myself. Obviously, I sit in the chair and stuff like that, and I've got a direct light to myself. And I've actually got a second one which I brought in for other projects and stuff like that. Now, when you're green screening, the important thing is that will light up myself and my face and stuff. But a very important part when you're doing this sort of work is to ensure that the green screen itself is well lit up. If there are shadows, like you can see at the moment, you can see the shadow of the ring light and of the chair and stuff like that. If this color of the green screen is not consistent, then you start getting a bit of noise and things start, you can't sort of remove it, and it kind of looks quite messy. So as a result, we've got quite a number of lights that light up the green screen. I've got this little ring light over here, a little light over there, which sort of lights up that part of the green itself, and then I've got a little light over here. Shout out to Shadow the puppy, who refused to go to bed, and as a result is sitting here. So those three lights light up the green screen, and then the soft box over there lights up myself. Then we move on to my actual setup itself, which has also sort of been built over quite a few months with different additions, stuff like that. Shout out to that elephant photo. It's probably the best photo I think I've ever taken. I'm quite keen to do a print of that. But when I brought my desktop up, the big thing when you're trying to do live and stuff like that is to be able to have a camera which is useful. And the DSLR does work. You can use Canon's webcam software to plug it straight in, or you can use a capture card. But I found that it was very useful, especially on the fly, to invest in a little webcam. So I've got a little C920, Logitech C920, which is basically your industry standard webcam. You literally cannot go wrong with it. And so that sort of gives me full HD video. And then I had the green screen, stuff like that. So the next thing was sort of the final piece of the puzzle was sound. And I was using a little lapel mic, but wanted to use something that was a little bit sort of more flexible and a bit sort of better quality. And I've actually invested in this Rode Pod mic, which is an awesome little mic. The biggest problem with it is that it is a dynamic mic, which means that it is supposed to be used quite close to your face. So when I originally got it, I had it on that stand over there, which then sort of had the mic sort of sitting over there. And when you're sitting back here, it doesn't really work for the purpose. So the big thing is that I managed to get this boom arm in the last couple of months, which means I can now have the mic sort of sitting there right in front of where I sit. The pod mic is plugged into a Behringer UMC 404, which is an awesome little audio interface. Again, I could have gone with something like a USB mic, which if you are getting into streaming and stuff like that, I highly recommend something like a Blue Yeti, which is something I'm looking to add to the setup so I can be a bit more sort of on the fly, work on the fly, and be a bit more sort of portable. But again, much like the green screen, I wanted something which offered a bit of versatility. As a result, I've got something like this, which can have 4 mics plugged in, because I do want to move towards doing more sort of podcast things. So the idea is that's more of sort of a podcaster mic, and we can sort of add a couple more mics, and we can plug them all into one audio interface and have decent sound for when we add guests and stuff like that. So that was pretty much most of the setup. It was all going very well. The biggest problem came with the fact that being in the room I don't have DSTV, and as a result, I had to stream games, and that's where my biggest and probably the best addition I ever did to the setup came in, which is this little thing over here. And what this is, I don't have a DSTV decoder, so as a result of having to stream games, I was obviously sort of a minute or 90 seconds behind the action, which for watch along is a bit of a problem when you have to try and tell people what's going on and you're behind the time. So as a result, that is a wireless extender, which actually basically is a signal that's been from our sitting room straight there, and that then plugs into this, which is a little HDMI splitter. So I've got my 2 screens over here, and then with a little push of a button, this splitter over here then switches off to that extender, and I then get a completely direct live feed from the TV to my screen over here, which means that I get live TV right here as it happens, so I'm no longer behind. There's no delay or whatever. Whatever you see on the TV is exactly what I'm seeing here. Shout out to Manscaped over here, with the current supporters of Forever Sports. So there you pretty much have it. That is how it all sort of, that's also how it sort of works behind the scenes, you know. And if you're looking to get into this, if you're looking at trying to sort of start a channel and stuff like that, lighting, camera, sound are your sort of big things. You can go sort of the green screen vibe. You do need good lighting. You need good lighting regardless of what you're going to do. If you want to have a nice sort of set or background, you'll need lighting anyway. For a green screen, you need to make sure your green screen is well lit. Get yourself a nice mic. You know, this mic's been really useful now that I've got a boom arm and I can actually have it right here. But if you do want something which you can, you know, have a bit further away from you and stuff like that, I do recommend something like a Blue Yeti or a Firefly, for example. Those are very useful USB mics, which can sort of be put to that use. So that's how it kind of all works. In terms of streaming software and stuff like that, I use OBS with a couple of plugins and stuff like that for my scoreboard. So when you see my live watch along and stuff like that, that's the software I use to do live. It's all free software and stuff like that. So it's all very, very useful. And that's pretty much how it all sort of works. Let me know if you'd like to see a more sort of detailed of how it all sort of comes together on the PC down in the comments below. This is the current setup at the moment. You know, I'm hoping eventually when I move up that I want to start sort of building a bit of a set behind myself, so where I can have a pop-up green screen, but can also have things, just sort of a normal background behind me. You know, I'd obviously like to work towards having more people on the channel and in person when sort of COVID dies down. So that's where the extra couple of mic inputs and stuff can come in, and we can hopefully try and sort of put together a table, create a nice room and environment where I can sit a lot of different people down and we can sort of chat sport and stuff like that. But this is how it all works. Myself in my little room with all the various elements, that's what all comes together to then present the watch-alongs which we saw during the British and Irish Lions series, which we've seen during the Currie Cup and the Rugby Championship, and which we will see over the next few months. Please do smash like on the video. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of thing, or if you'd like to see how it all comes together on the PC and stuff like that. And let me know in the comments below. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know what other content you'd like to see as well in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, keep well, and I'll chat to you guys all very, very soon.